Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Abby McCollum, and I'm a coordinator in the Sorority and Fraternity Engagement Office at Iowa State. And I also serve as the MPHC advisor. So I'm excited to be here with you today to talk with our MPHC president, Jonathan Hall, and share a little bit with you about the National Pan-Hellenic Council. Jonathan, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. So hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Hall. I'm the current president for MPHC, also known as the National Pan-Hellenic Council here at Iowa State. I am entering my senior year in civil engineering, and I am also the current chapter president for the Omicron Pi chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated here at Iowa State.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. Can you tell us a little bit about how you knew Alpha was the right organization for you?
It was a lot of things that led to that decision. It starts when I was a senior in high school, and I applied for a scholarship that our local alumni chapter was giving away. I asked my English teacher, she's an AKA, so I asked her to write my letter of recommendation, and she asked for what, and I told her about some scholarship that some fraternity is giving away. So nonchalant, so like I really don't care. I just want it's just money that people are giving away. And she asked for what chapter. I told her Xi Lambda, and she was like, "Of Alpha Phi Alpha," and I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Boy, give me this." She was like, she snatched the whole letter away from me, and she was like, "I'll do anything for you." It's like she knew the chapter president, so she was very well connected with the chapter, and she was like, "I'm so glad that you got this because I know you're gonna be an alpha. You're gonna be such a great alpha." And to me, I'm like, yeah, okay. I just need the letter. I don't know what an alpha is. I don't know what's going on. I was like, but I ended up getting it, winning the scholarship, and I was invited to their chapter facility located on the south side of Chicago. And it was an energy that was that was hard to explain because I felt so comfortable and so like I belonged there. These were grown, accomplished Black men that were doctors and lawyers and professors, and they owned their own businesses, but it wasn't, they wasn't talking to each other in like a professional, politically correct manner. It was like they were all raised by the same mother in the same household. It was like when you have a sibling and you all just like, and you all talk about each other, y'all bag on each other. It was just that very welcoming, like lighthearted, fun atmosphere. And I knew, I was like, I want to be a part of this, but I don't know what it is. Until I came to Iowa State through the first year freshman orientation program, DIS. And MPHC had a table there, and I got in contact with Julian Neely. He was the past chapter president. And he was very like-minded. He loved education. He loved academics. He was a people's man. He loved to elevate his community. He loved to do the work. And I still got that same very lighthearted energy that he gave off to his brothers as well. As I did more research into what Alpha Phi Alpha was and what MPHC was, I fell in love with it instantly. And it was kind of like a feeling like I know this is where I was supposed to be in my heart. So it wasn't the very typical, I was around Greeks my entire life. I wasn't knowledgeable about anything about a fraternity or a sorority. I just knew specific Greek letters because of like movies and things like that. So organically, it's almost like I stumbled into Alpha Phi Alpha on mistake. And now it's just like the greatest experience I've had thus far.
So when you were first exposed to Alpha and kind of sororities and fraternities as a whole, how did you do your research or identify that Alpha? You talked about a lot of the getting to know individual people, but did you do any research or look into programs or initiatives, or just how did you learn more about the organization as a whole? Was it through meeting people? Was it through online research, reading books? just asking the people around you? How do you kind of do that process?
Oh, that's a good question. I did a mix of everything. For me, being an engineer, I need all the facts. I need all logistics. I need to know everything before I make a sound decision. So the website was the first stop. Well, actually, Google was the first stop to make sure I had the organization name right, and then putting me to the page to the website. I learned about the founders. I learned about the initiatives and the national programs. Um, I learned about a lot of the publications and the materials that Alpha has been a part of, and the history and the members. And then after that, I looked into the people. Because for me, even though I had no experience of what a Greek organization was, I knew that I was going to have to be around people a lot more than I'm very comfortable with. I'm introverted at heart, so me joining a fraternity, my family was like, "That what?" So I had to know the people as well. I had to know the people within the chapter and the community surrounding it, because that was I was going to be a servant to that community. I was going to be a pillar within that community. So I had to know the people I was going to be with, whether it was a college brother or their advisors. I met with almost every alpha on campus. More than I had to is because I wanted to know as many people as I could to make sure I was comfortable with what I was doing. And I asked around on what were they like on campus, what programs did they do, how successful they were. I just did a lot of information diving into who they were as individuals, and then who they were as professionals, and who they were as community members. And then I just pretty much fell in love after I got all of the information that I needed.
Awesome. So you talked a lot about your experience with Alpha and how you got connected. And I think that's a really neat way. It's really unique and cool to hear you talk about that experience, as we have people that are looking at how can they get connected with MPHC and how can they learn about different organizations. And so one of the things that I was curious about is, as president of the council, what are some of your favorite MPHC memories? What are some of your favorite things about MPHC as a council and getting to be a part of that larger community?
Mm-hmm. Favorite MPHC memory? I wouldn't say it's a memory, but I would say my favorite experience on being with MPHC is it's our social interactions together as MPHC, and as well as the nostalgic feeling that we get when we're all together. So I would say my favorite experience thus far is when MPHC is in one room, is in one building. It's like it's a magical feeling for me, not only because I'm the president and I'm seeing all of my council members in one setting representing their chapters to the best of their ability, but it's also a magic of we all have on our different letters and our different colors, and we're adding more personality to the community and more personality to the council as a whole, even though we're all very different. So it's getting to interact with everyone, and that's my favorite part, and that's something that I still get that feeling to this day. Like when we're all in one room, there's like a magic where everyone knows like MPHC has arrived in this one space, so it's kind of like, what are they going to do? So that I would say that's my favorite memory and favorite experience.
I love that. That energy is undeniable when all of you are together, or even if it's not all of you, but a small group of you around campus. That energy is just undeniable. I think almost everybody can recognize and see it. So I appreciate you pointing that out. When we look at the council as a whole, can you just describe a little bit about the council and talk to people who maybe would be looking into the council about how it operates? What are some of what's its purpose, and just tell us a little bit about MPHC as a whole.
Mm-hmm. The general purpose I want to get across is that we were a support system for each other when one was not provided for us. And that's, to me, that's the most important piece, because here were 6 to 8, then to 9 historic African American fraternities and sororities, and we had no support. So we all came together to support each other, and we were able to empathize on what we were all going through during the times that we faced, and when we all were created. So for now, our council, even though it's a lot more professional than what it used to be for when it first started, our council still goes back to that very, very authentic support system. I think that's the most important part, because we all are a family at the end of the day. We all share the same culture at the end of the day. We all go through the same hardships and experiences. So I think that root of we're all together in this is the most important part. And now we just build upon that as a council. We're expanding our reach. We're expanding our exposure as a council. So our council, specifically for Iowa State's campus, it's a lot of the power and a lot of the control are within the general council members themselves. Yes, I am the president, and a lot of the times the president is the power holder, dictator, what have you. For me, I'm only the face. I'm only the face and the mouth of the council. They are the heart. So whatever they want to do as a council, I follow that with 110%. They have my full support. They have my full disclosure and my full transparency, because they know I have their best interests at heart. We operate as a family. Do we always get along? No. But do we always put our small issues aside to benefit a greater purpose? Yes. And that's the beauty of it.
I love that. And you're getting a little bit of love out in the comments. And so if you are an MPHC member, feel free to drop some hearts with your organization's color in the comments, and share a little love for your org in the comments. And I just thought that was fun. And Haley is out here loving your story of getting connected to Alpha. And so,
yeah, shout out to Phi Chapter. That's Sigma Theta. You already know what it is.
And so, if you are in the comments or joining us today as an MPHC member, drop some love for your org. Tell us how you came to join your org, and tell us what MPHC means to you. You can also drop questions for Jonathan in the comments, and we can get him to answer some of those as well. As we look at getting connected with MPHC and looking at membership in MPHC, Jonathan, tell me, what's the best way for somebody coming to Iowa State who wants to get connected with the council as a whole? What's the best way for them to learn about the council or get connected or explore opportunity of membership for MPHC?
It's a lot of different ways. The most general blanketed answer would be social media. Each chapter has their own page. Shout out First Fam. I see you down there, April. But I think the most general way during these times is social media. The council itself has its own Instagram page. Each chapter has their own Instagram page. But for those out there like me that are true, very, very true introverts at heart, I didn't have any social media when I got to Iowa State. Might be a shocker, but it's very, very true. The best thing is to go to the source. I went to the people. I got in contact with not only Julian, but Jasmine as well. She was the MPHC president when I joined Alpha. I got to know the secretary, the treasurer, Deja White. Shout out to Deja White. Um, the vice president. Shout out to Satoria. She held it down for a very, very long time. So I just got to know the people within MPHC and then the people within their own chapters.
I love that. And we have some great people here in the comments, right? We have Nicole, who works on campus and is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I know she's willing to be a resource. We have Haley, who works on campus and is willing to be a resource. We have April, that's April, who I know is willing to be a resource. And then, of course, our office. So I love that you're mentioning the people on campus who can really help support you. You mentioned a lot of students, but I think there's also a lot of faculty and staff too. Mm-hmm. Tell me, at the beginning of the semester, can you highlight some events and programs that MPHC will be hosting that people who are interested in exploring the council can kind of join in or come check out to learn more or just get to know the people so that they know who to ask?
Mm-hmm. So right now our council is in the planning processes for our fall semester as well as our spring. We're going to start that. But the two events to look out for would be MPHC Week, which is the biggest week that MPHC puts on every fall and spring semester, and as well as Meet the Greeks. Meet the Greeks will be a great opportunity for those to have each and every chapter there in one space so you can get to mingle and talk to everyone and get to know a little bit about what everyone is about in their chapters as individual chapters. So Meet the Greeks is probably the biggest event that we have during MPHC Week. So if you want to know everyone and want to get to see everyone all in one setting and experience the magic of MPHC that I mentioned of before, Meet the Greeks is a great way for you to feel that.
I love that. And Nicole has, I think, a really good question to add on to that, just about if I don't know anything and I'm not maybe comfortable talking to members right away, outside of those events you mentioned, what advice would you have for somebody who doesn't know anything about the community or isn't comfortable connecting with those individuals right away?
That's a great question. So first things first is even though the internet is a great tool and a great resource and a great resource within itself, you also need to learn how to filter what you're looking for. So if you want to know anything very general, I would start with everyone's headquarters main operating website, which is what we all abide by. That's our backbone, that's our structure. But for general members, if you don't want to get in contact with them personally or just immediately, the best way would be their social media. If you don't want to ask for it, I can guarantee someone that you know will have it, or someone that you meet will have it as well. And we all run great social media platforms as individuals and as chapters. So I would say just slide in a quick DM and say, hey, I saw you at this event. I came to this event. I would like to learn a bit more about you and your chapter. That's a great way to start if you don't want to get in contact with members right off the bat.
And can you talk to them a little bit about how they could reach out to the council Instagram or the council officer's contact information? And then I'll also note that they can always pop into our office or email our office as well for the sorority and fraternity engagement office. You can email SFE main, and that will help you get connected, or that SFE staff at iostate.edu. You can see our phone number and our website at the bottom that you can use to get connected to us if you want to use that. And there's some resources on our website to help you learn more about each organization or the process. And then if you want to talk about how they can get connected with the council.
Repeat that question one more time. Sorry, I was reading the comments.
Yeah. Can you talk to them about how they can use council officers or the council Instagram to get connected, the council social media?
Definitely. So each council officer has their own specific time in which they will be in the office. Those are office hours that we will be in that office. They are, we're going to start posting those on our social media so people won't have to just walk in and ask, is this person here or not? Um, so we're going to start posting those. If you want to get in contact with us individually, our emails are also a great resource. They're on the SFE's website as well with our pictures. So you can have a face to the name and the email address. Or a lot of the times I will be in the office every single day just randomly because that I just like being in that space. There will always be someone from MPHC there in the office, from a staff member or to just a general council member or just someone on exec board.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And we have Jasmine, member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Sending a little love to her sorors, and then some love to Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And we have Haley sharing some of her favorite parts of being a member of the council, and kind of echoing some of what you shared earlier. And then April really showing and talking about some of that history, and how special it is to be a member of the council. So thank you guys for sharing in the comments. We love to see that, and love to see that engagement. Jasmine is also another great resource on campus. I know she would be happy to talk to people, as we were naming. Jonathan was naming some people earlier that would be willing to talk with you or help you get connected to the council.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, we've talked a lot about different resources, different ways to be connected. But what advice do you have for those who want to join MPHC? What would you tell them about getting connected, about the benefits of the council? What advice do you have for them?
I think the most simplest, but yet the most necessary advice would be, treat us like we're normal, everyday people, because we are. And that's a lot of where the shyness and the intimidation factor comes in, because they want to be a part of our community, and we're more than willing to welcome you in. But don't place us on a pedestal because you feel like we have achieved something that you haven't just yet. Treat us like we're people. We call each other brothers and sisters because we know each other as people first. And it's very easy for MPHC members to tell if they really want to get to know us as genuine people, or are they just want to get to know us because they want to be a part of the community. So I would say be as genuine as possible. Stay as genuine as possible. Keep in contact with these people, because we go through things on the daily that people don't know about, because we are the leaders. We have to hold on a strong face. So keep in mind that we are all people. We would love to meet up and grab something to eat. We love to go out. We love to go to the parties as well. We have jobs. We have families. We are people at the core of who we are. I'm Jonathan, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, not the Alpha Jonathan. Jonathan comes first.
We got a lot of people who are agreeing with you on these statements. So looks like you have some backup on those comments. Mm-hmm. I love that. As we wrap up, just a reminder, drop any questions you have so we can get to them before we end for the day. And we will make sure we hit those. But before we wrap up, or to wrap us up, Jonathan, what else do you have to add? Anything you want to share that we didn't get a chance to talk about? Any other things you want to add to the table or tell the people about before we
I would say another piece of advice is to find your passion. The biggest thing that keeps us going and on why we stay members and why we pay our dues and why we do the things that we do is because we're passionate about it. You have to be passionate about it, because that is what's going to keep you going. there are going to be a lot of factors that are going to play into your events that are going to discourage you a bit, and that's okay. But be passionate about what you do. Be passionate about why you do it. Um, and as well as make sure that you're bringing something to the chapter that they do not already have. Everyone is unique in their own way. Yes, that is very true. But every chapter, in a way, is trying to build on its own brand. So, what can you look within yourself to see what can you add to your chapter, to your organization, to your district, to your state, that's going to make you undeniable in their eyes.
Awesome. And we have a question, so I'll pop that up for you. April asking, how can students stay connected with MPHC organizations after college?
Great question. All of our chapters there are two different rankings. There's a college chapter and there's a alumni chapter. So after you graduate college, I'm pretty sure that one lucky alumni chapter is going to scoop you up because they see the amazing things that you did while you were in college. So please, MPHC is a lifelong commitment. We say that because it's not a marketing scheme. It's not a cool catchphrase. It's because it's our truth. After we leave our college chapter, we join an alumni chapter because the work continues on a greater scale from what we did in college. So I would say get in contact with your local alumni chapters around in your city, if they're not in your city, within your state, as well as please make sure that you're keeping in contact with people that are outside of your chapter, outside of just your letters. Because if you're joining Alpha Phi Alpha, I always tell everyone you're also joining MPHC, and there are 8 other fraternities and sororities that are down for the cause with you. So I would say if you join any of our chapters, I would say you have to branch out. I would encourage you to branch out because your lifelong friends may not be the same people that are in Alpha Phi Alpha or Alpha Kappa Alpha or Delta Sigma Theta. They could be a part of Phi Beta Sigma or Zeta Phi Beta or Iota Phi Theta or Sigma Gamma Rho or Omega Psi Phi. So I would say get to know everyone that is just outside of your chapter.
Awesome. And we'll keep watching the comments or questions as we wrap up. But Jonathan, thanks for sharing today. I think from the comments, it looks like what you were saying really resonated. And so thanks for sharing a little bit about your experience and talking about the council and letting them know why MPHC is great. I feel fortunate that I get to serve as a support system for the council and get to support the work you guys are doing. And I'm excited that people got to hear a little bit of your truth and your experience today. And thank you for those who tuned in and left comments and questions. We appreciate it. A lot of those who are commenting are some of the really big supporters and advocates of the council. So thank you to you all. MPHC is a huge success because of you guys. And so thank you to you all. Thank you to Jonathan. This will be on our YouTube video or YouTube channel after this. So if you want to rewatch, you can. And stay connected with MPHC. Follow them on social media. And when you get to campus in the fall, come hang out. Come get to know them. Come ask them. So thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Shout out to MPHC. Hold it high.